Hey there, everybody. This is Dave, and I'm going to be trying something a little new here. This is my 2016 State of the Channel address. Now, the first question you probably have is, what is this strange game playing on the video right now? Well, this is Alley Cat. This is actually the first PC game I ever played or ever remember playing. I got my 386 back in 1986 or 1987, and this was one of, I think, about 3 or 4 games I had on it, the others being Paratrooper, Rampage, and the EGA version of Police Quest. So, as you can imagine, this game does hold some nostalgic significance to me. It has had an effect on my life in terms of my love of games. Heck, I think the fact that during my daily routine I will often just randomly tap out rhythmic patterns with my fingers on things using pens or whatnot, that has to do with the rhythmic tapping in the background of this game through the PC speaker as you play it. So the second question you probably have is, why am I showing you footage of Alley Cat? Well, one of the things I want to do this year for the channel is I want to do a new video series entitled Dave's Favorite Games. Now, these will be older games because usually when you think of your favorite video games, there is usually a nostalgic connection. The power of nostalgia is quite strong. Mainly because, the games we end up loving and returning to time and time again usually have some effect on us, either through our childhood, our teenagehood, or even into our 20s and beyond. But usually, the more time that has passed between when you first played a game and the desire to return back to it, the more you're likely to think of it as one of your favorite games. And the games that I will be using for this series are games that I have returned to time and time again. Now, this does not mean that there won't be more modern games, it's just that with modern games, it's more difficult to return to classics because of the new games that keep coming out that you want to play. And of course, like every gamer out there, I have a backlog that is truly frightening. And especially now that I've started making videos. So, back on topic for what this new series will be is that I want it to be more conversational, kind of like what I'm doing now. What I've done here, usually for my impressions and for my critique videos, I will write out what I want to say beforehand and then I will read it. That's why it sounds a lot more structured. Here I am umming and ahhing and messing up my lines, and I will go back and edit this a little, but I don't want to ruin the conversational tone and the conversational flow that just speaking off the cuff delivers, because my purpose for this, especially because I am an older gamer, I have been playing since about the mid-1980s, and around that time, I was able to visit arcades to see the games of gaming's formative years. I did play Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and Pong at the time. My friend down the road had an Atari 2600. This was long before I got my 386 and my Nintendo, which were about within 1 to 2 years of each other. So by revisiting a lot of gaming's classics, I'd like to not only showcase the games I love, but introduce them to others and make others curious about searching them out and trying them out for themselves, even though with some of the older games it may be difficult because not every game I love from my childhood is available on goodoldgames.com. Most of them are, and some of them are coming, but there are a lot missing. We'll get to that when I create these videos. I'm hoping to have the first video out by the end of January. That will be on a game that is tied for my favorite adventure game of all time, and that game will be Loom. So look for that in January. Now, to bring it back to the channel itself, I started making these videos in around early November. What prompted this was I decided to subscribe to Humble Monthly, which is the PC version of PlayStation Plus. And when I discovered that there was going to be one of those for PC, I'm like, oh, that's a fantastic idea. I'd actually been thinking about video content ever since I got my new laptop back for my birthday in April. And I've wanted to do something video throughout the whole of 2015, but it was kind of Humble Monthly appearing and the site I was writing for, Gaming Momentum, going down and us losing a year of our content, and that still has not been rectified. That kind of prompted me to finally pull the finger out and get this up and running, and I've been incredibly happy with everything that's happened so far. Starting the channel in November, well, if you look in the history of my channel, I have a series I started years and years ago that I will keep up on my channel called 5 Credits to Midnight. It's there for people who are curious. I will not recommend it. It was something I was trying to do at the time. Basically what I'm saying is I will consider 2016 to be the channel's real first year of life. So I have a lot of things I want to do with the channel in its first year. I want to continue my impressions videos. I will be doing that month in, month out with Humble Monthly releases. Plus, since I started creating video content, I have friends that have been gifting me games. I have probably about 10 Steam games as gifts within the last couple months that they're like, oh, I have a Steam key. Dave does video content now. Here, have this. And I'm like, thank you. For some of them, I'm kind of, thank you. But I will not snub a free game. So you can be looking forward to a lot more impressions videos, not only of what gets released in Humble Monthly, but other games as well, including all the other games in my backlog that I will be playing for the first time. You may have noticed I started doing critiques as well. All the critiques I have done so far, with the exception of Her Story, which I released last week, they are critiques I wrote for GM in 2015. Now that that site is down, and it may or may not be up again in the future, that is really up in the air. And basically what I want to do is everything I had written that I completed in 2015, I want to make a video version of it. So obviously that will take some time because I have to go back and play these games in order to get video footage of them. And in the case of a game like the Talos Principle, for instance, that is a very large endeavor, especially because I acquired all 3 endings on that game. I've marked them out in terms of how much time each game should take, and I've been slowly making my way from least time to most time. So the next critique you can look forward to will likely be Jazzpunk, which is a critique I wrote but actually never got published because the site went down before I had a chance to do so. So all things considered, everything firing on all cylinders, hopefully I will finish the GM critiques by the end of this year. That is my goal. And then, of course, I have so many ideas for other games I either want to revisit or write critiques for help. There will probably be plenty of games I played this year, whether it be for impressions or just decide to play, that I'll want to write critiques on. So there will be a lot of critique content out there for those of you who enjoy. Future ideas. On the topic of critiques, I'd like to perhaps do critiques of series. You know, perhaps look at the Desmond trilogy of Assassin's Creed, play the Fallout series, play the Mass Effect series, maybe do a developer profile, like maybe on Tim Schafer, play through all the games he wrote and directed. Do the same with people like Miyamoto or Jordan Mechner. I think that would be very interesting. Of course, that's always a lot of work. That's just floating in my head at the moment. I also used to write a weekly series for GM called The Game Corner, Dave's Game Corner. it would be interesting for me to be able to bring that to a video format. I'm just not sure of the format of either of these ideas at the moment. Mind you, a couple months ago, I was unsure of how I would be able to gather the footage needed to be able to make video critiques, because I was unsure I would have the space available to hold all the Fraps footage. I found a workaround to that problem, and if I think on this long enough, I'll probably work out solutions to these problems as well. Basically, now that I've laid out kind of what should be appearing on the channel, I should likely go into what I'm kind of hoping to do with the channel. One goal of mine is that everything I put out, I kind of want it to be evergreen content. By that I mean that I want someone to watch my torrent critique or maybe my Trauma Squad impressions years from now, and what I said then about that game at this time will be just as applicable, because the games will hopefully still be around and the games have not changed that much. I want to write critiques and impressions that stand the test of time. Perhaps that's a naive or a silly ideal, but it's something I want to try and do, and we'll see if I succeed at that next year when I hopefully do a state of 2017. We shall see. Next, I'd like to possibly improve the content quality of my videos. I think I've already improved in leaps and bounds throughout the 2 months I've been doing this, and onward and upward. I've been learning a lot about video production and audio production and all the little tweaks you can make, and hopefully that curiosity and that learning of how to efficiently create great looking, great sounding video content will continue, because really I want to be able to produce the best videos I can. Now the channel is still very fledgling. I only have a handful of views on every one of my videos, and I hope to change that within the next year, of course, to get more viewers. I don't want less. Let me just make that perfectly clear. But as always, I appreciate feedback, especially constructive criticism. If you want me to cover something, or if you think you can help me in making better videos, or if you just want to discuss one of the points I made, please let yourself be known either in the YouTube comment section, on my Twitter, which is linked on my channel, or even at my email, which is, I believe, also linked on my channel. Finally, I'd just like to say to those who have been watching my videos so far, thank you. I mean that sincerely. I'm glad that I'm creating content that people are watching and seem to be enjoying, and I hope that continues. I would love for you to spread the word, but if you want to keep this all to yourself and you're enjoying what I'm doing, I appreciate it nonetheless. I hope everyone watching this has a wonderful 2016, and hopefully we'll be talking again in 2017. I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.